You know, when I was a kid, I used to think about cars, cars that ruled. And I was growing up in the 70s. I know I was born in 69, but all through the 70s, I had, those images of those 70s cars. Well, here's some of those cars from the 1970s that ruled the streets. Talking about the sweetest rides of the 70s. In the 70s, some motorists, like myself, got stars in their eyes when they looked at muscle cars, while others gravitated towards supercars or even subcompact models. While what's cool depends on what appeals to each driver, here are 15 of the most iconic, attention-grabbing cars of this funky decade. To get the conversation started, and used J.D. Power and Sports Car Market to document the manufacturer's suggested retail price for each car. Here's the 1970 Chevrolet Chevelle Supersport. Manufacturer's suggested retail price, MSRP of $3,486. Inflation adjusted costs in 2025, $29,584. Chevy rocked the muscle car world with the release of the 1970 Chevelle SS. Dubbed the King of the Streets, the Chevelle had Chevy's LS6 454 cubic inch engine, which put out 450 horsepower and pushed out 500 foot-pounds of torque, the most powerful engine offered in 1970. The car had sculptured lines above the wheel openings and featured a blacked-out grille that was split horizontally and had a large SS emblem dead center. It also had cowl injection with a vacuum-operated door at the rear of the hood that fed air from the base of the windshield to the carburetor, allowing for smoother airflow at high speeds. Ooh, how about the 1971 Chevrolet Camaro? MSRP $3,635, which in today's 2025 dollars is $29,298. The 1971 Chevy Camaro highlighted some small but significant changes from its 1970 models, welcoming high back seats and updated emblems that included shortening the Camaro by Chevrolet on the trunk lid to Camaro. Motorists could get the Camaro in 4 model options: Rally Sport, Super Sport, Z28, or Coupe. Oh man, how about this lovely? The 1971 Plymouth Hemi Cuda convertible. MSRP $4,348. Adjusted for 2025, $35,045. There's an inherent allure to rare cars. A you want what you can't have notion. The mega rare 1971 Plymouth Hemi Cuda convertible is extra elusive since there were only 12 models ever made, with 5 of them shipping overseas. The car was built on a new E-body platform and had a wide body with low stance. What does a rare car that looks this cool cost today? Apparently, its worth is valued north of $4.8 million. You ever seen one of these? It's the 1973 De Tomaso Pantera. MSRP at $10,295. Today's dollars, $77,525. An Italian-American supercar, the 1973 De Tomaso Pantera featured an Italian chassis and body with an American Ford V8 in the back with manual transmission. The car embodies the foundations of race cars and was featured in several car race touring classes. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. How about this one? 1971 Chevrolet Vega. MSRP $2,090. Adjusted for today, $16,845. Meant to replace the Corvair, the 1971 Chevy Vega was a fresh 4-cylinder compact offered in 4 two-door models: panel express truck, sedan, camback station wagon, and hatchback coupe. It was the first car Chevy offered with front-wheel disc brakes standard. Ooh, I saw a lot of these in my old neighborhood in Miami, South Florida. The 1972 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme. MSRP $3,258. Adjusted $25,429. The Cutlass Supreme was Oldsmobile's top intermediate vehicle. The 1972 model was offered as a sedan or coupe. Motorists could choose between a cloth or vinyl interior, and the car featured a 350 cubic inch V8 engine. I think my stepdad had one of these in some kind of puke green. 1972 Chevrolet Nova. MSRP $2,467. Adjusted $19,255. The 1972 Chevy Nova came in multiple engine options, and drivers could choose between a coupe or a sedan. This model brought the Nova one of its best years, with nearly 350,000 units sold. The V6 model was widely popular, selling just under 140,000 units. The car also offered a sky roof option, a soft, foldable sunroof, available in 6 color options. How about this little honey? The 1970 Dodge Challenger. MSRP $3,266. Adjusted for 2025, $27,717. What started as a challenge to the Mustang and Camaro pony cars became one of the most classic muscle cars around. Although the 1970 Dodge Challenger wasn't overly popular when it debuted, it is now considered a rare collector's car. The chiseled design of the Challenger was bold and eye-catching, but the car wasn't cool just in the looks department. Equipped with the iconic Hemi V8 engine, the 70 Challenger had plenty of power too. I've had a few Mustangs in my life. Here's the 1978 Ford Mustang Mach 1. MSRP $4,523, adjusted $23,215. This marked the last year for the legendary Ford Mustang Mach 1. With a 2-barrel 6-cylinder engine, the Mustang generated 104 horsepower and sported a brushed aluminum dashboard panel, styled wheels with raised white lettered tires, and a full instrument package. How about this baby? The 1973 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am. MSRP $4,204. Adjusted $31,657. The 1973 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am featured the second-generation body style and was offered with a special engine version called the Super Duty 455. This engine was innovative because it had a strengthened cylinder block with 4 bolt main bearing caps. In 1973, auto manufacturers were veering away from muscle cars, which were expensive to maintain and insure. But that didn't stop Pontiac. It released the 1973 Firebird that became known as the fastest Pontiac ever. How could this list ever be complete without the 1977 Chevrolet Corvette Stingray? MSRP $8,648, adjusted $47,422. The 1977 Chevy Corvette Stingray shied away from the usual wild design and had a more sophisticated appearance. The sleek look of the car is only part of what makes it so desirable. If you had a need for speed in the 70s, this Corvette was a great option with its 350 cubic inch V8 engine that churned out 210 horsepower. Going back to economical, let's talk about the 1972 Ford Pinto. MSRP $1,960. Adjusted for inflation, $15,298. In 1972, the subcompact Ford Pinto gained notoriety for being cheap and fast. The lightweight vehicle featured a solid rear axle and rear-mounted fuel tank, so its design wasn't exactly the safest. It could lead to fuel spillage and fire in an accident. But safe doesn't always equate to cool, right? Let's get back to the muscle. 1972 Plymouth Roadrunner. MSRP $3,095. Adjusted $24,157. Equipped with a 400 engine with dual exhaust, the 1972 Plymouth Roadrunner boasted a heavy-duty suspension and brakes. Unique features included a vinyl bench seat, a day-night rear view mirror, a beep-beep horn, a 3-spoke steering wheel, and Roadrunner decals and trim items. If you're looking for classy, the 1977 Cadillac Coupe de Ville might be more your style. MSRP $9,810, adjusted $53,794. Sleek and luxurious, the 1977 Cadillac Coupe de Ville boasted a thinned-out design distinct from previous Cadillacs. The car was lighter, had a smaller wheelbase, and was shorter in length than previous years, albeit still spacious. The Coupe de Ville was fast too, with a V8 good for 180 horsepower. Maybe you recognize this car from the TV. 1976 Ford Gran Torino. MSRP $4,461. Inflation adjusted $25,738. This was the year of change for Ford's Gran Torino. The Sport option was discontinued and the car was available in 9 body styles. The model was the first to offer a power trunk release and an automatic parking brake release. This flashy car was so cool that it was featured in the TV show Starsky and Hutch. How about those cars of the 70s? Did you ever own any of those? Did your dad, your grandfather ever own one of those? You ever been in one of those? You ever seen one of those at a car show? Let me know in the comments. Stick around for more. It's KeysDAN, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.